Hi, it's T. Michelle Birdsong, Eve, mother of all living, daughter of the sun. You're looking at a picture of Jesus Christ, the Buddha, being Govinda Singh Dhillon. My husband and son are in California. I am in New York. My youngest daughter and her children are in Colorado. My oldest daughter is in Hawaii. I am alone without the love of my physical family. No hugs. I am Eve, mother of all living, daughter of the sun. As go Eve, so goes the seniors. The families of older people are told to stay away from them. Jesus Christ, being Charan Singh, being Govinda Singh Dhillon, said, "There's no such thing as a coincidence." If Eve, the world's energy, ideas, dies, the world dies. As goes Eve, so goes the world. Woman, world, omen. Those who hate people, who hate humanity, are trying to kill them by killing the mother of all living, Eve. Because as goes Eve, goes the world. In 1968, I began doing Hatha Yoga. Soon, yoga became popular in America. In 1970, I began meditating. Now, lots of people in America meditate. As goes Eve, so goes America. As a child of 4, my mother told me she wanted me dead. She had tried to abort me when I was in her womb. Now abortion is very popular. Lots of people want to kill new life, new ideas. In my subconscious is the knowledge of my life being unwanted by my God, my mother. Lots of mothers do not want their children. They abort them. As goes Eve's experiences, so goes the world. When I was 9, I did not want to be me. Now it is popular to change who you are. Dye your hair, straighten your hair, curl your hair, have cosmetic surgery to change your body, even your genitals. As goes Eve, so goes the world. People don't want to be themselves. At 9, I stopped swimming and floated face down in a pool of water. Now, attempting, sometimes succeeding at suicide is popular. At 4 years old, I stopped being me and started being my mother. That is love, becoming another person, losing your identity. At 9 years old, I decided to love, to become the bad little girl, the nigger, and stop being the good little girl, the little lady. Now people want to be a Kardashian rather than the member of the family they're born to. And people want to be sports heroes rather than be the hero they were born to be. As goes Eve, so goes the world. It takes courage to be who you are. The person who is authentic, who is true to herself or to himself, is a modern-day hero because there are so many forces trying to get you to conform, to be like everyone else. My father, the son, said, "I am true." The citizen journalists like myself are becoming more plentiful. Going against the status quo. I was so weak today I could hardly stand as I stood washing my bed sheet in the bathroom sink, the laundry clothes. All of a sudden the sun, my father, came blasting his shine in through the closed window. I smiled. I was distracted from how weak I was feeling as I felt his warmth on my arm. With him, I was able to get through it. Later in my room, I realized he was helping me not collapse, and he was helping me by reminding me to pay attention. All of a sudden, it came to me. I had not been drinking the necessary water, 6 to 8 glasses a day. I am dehydrated, I realized, and I started back keeping track of the time every time I drank a glass of water. I think seniors fall down because they don't drink enough water. They're dehydrated. The God for God, my Father, thank God for God. What is this? The God for God, my Father, the Son. He's always watching everything at the same time. His power is unfathomable. Mainstream includes to the marginalized. Mainstream includes to you. Main the March. I'm going to talk about a video called Real World or Simulation, and it's at the Amazing Polly YouTube channel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, these are notes that I took. Let's see. This woman, Colleen Smith, did a video showing Elmhurst Hospital being besieged with patients. So I wrote, so they are thinking about not resuscitating the patients, letting them die. Coronavirus patients, in particular elderly patients. So I wrote, it is possible they want to cull the elderly population. Are they undesirable as so-called Jews were to Nazis? Polly says, I don't believe the news from Elmhurst Hospital. Let me show you why not, and why it is imperative that we ask questions and bring the answers out. We are literally fighting for our lives right now. Trucks that don't have refrigeration units on them, but supposedly have dead bodies in them. Do you believe it? What about the body responsible? What about the body supposedly being removed from the truck, being placed in an expensive coffin, in a $6,000 coffin, without the guys wearing any protective gear? Real or fake? I said fake. Polly says, I've heard Donald Trump's been mentioning Elmhurst Hospital a lot. What's his take on it? Eve notes, I think he fell for the Colleen Smith simulation video story published by the New York Times and pushed by Gillibrand and Schumer's former spokesperson Mary Beth Kelly and another political operative named Tim Hogan. Dr. Shiva, who has 4 degrees from MIT and he created and holds the copyright for email, says the deaths from coronavirus are really from compromised, damaged immune systems because of bad air, bad water, and bad food. I believe him. I don't believe simulation expert Colleen Smith, apparently a doctor whose license expired in 2018, says Eve. Polly said, is Trump going to go along with what the administration at Elmhurst Hospital, not the doctors, wants because of one video by a woman, Colleen Smith, who doesn't even seem to work at Elmhurst, whose expertise is in medical simulation, and whose being amplified by communication experts are affiliated with the Democratic Party, Mary Beth Kelly and Tim Hogan. Polly says, don't forget it's also helping Andrew Cuomo. He's been holding daily press briefings about ventilators since March 24th. March 25th, people are dying. Prince New York Times. March 26th, we need ventilators. We need them so badly. Note from Eve, is it true that Elon Musk is building ventilators with his 3D printer? March 27, Trump tweets, thousands of ventilators found in New York City storage. New York must distribute them now. Note from Eve, obviously there was no need for the ventilators if they were in storage. The story and video was a hoax. Trump fell for fake news, a New York Times hoax. March 28th, Cuomo told a reporter, hospitals don't need the ventilators. Polly says, you see, nothing's making sense again. When did Colleen Smith make that video, and is Elmhurst okay or not? March 31st, Washington Post said New York City Hospital is being besieged with patients, yada yada. Hospitals struggle with life or death decisions. The hospital is going against people's wishes to be resuscitated. The death panels, this is Polly talking, that we used to hear about. This is another way for them to get that in place, says Polly. In the article, doctors are saying they can't do that. They must resuscitate. So what's going on here, asked Polly. I don't know. I just know that something doesn't sit right. People are going to Elmhurst and proving that it does not have a crush of patients. How do we know? Colleen Smith's video wasn't fake. Nobody's facing the camera. How do we know those people weren't homeless people paid to stand around for 10 to 15 minutes? Eve says, sounds likely. Polly says it's possible. Open up your minds, it's possible. Honestly, if it wasn't for that one New York Times story and that one doctor making that documentary, would anybody be as panicked about New York as they currently are? Eve said Mr. and Mrs. Lionel Nation, who live in Manhattan, recently went for a walk and saw some stores were open. Polly says, I have a little happy news to end with, though. Karma. Karma works fast sometimes. It's from the 31st. Dr. Colleen Smith, the ER doctor who last week took us inside Elmhurst Hospital, has tested positive for the coronavirus. So far, she says she's only had mild symptoms. Revisit the story and her struggles. It's about the same day as the film Your Hospital got trending. Oh, as the film Your Hospital got trending. Isn't that funny? And she's not the only one. They couldn't get Andrew Cuomo with the COVID-19 virus, but they did get his brother, Chris Cuomo of CNN, to test positive with coronavirus. So, let's review, says Polly. Someone who calls herself a simulationista. Perfect timing with the video that she alone made and got it published in conjunction with the Power, the Mighty, and the reach of the New York Times in conjunction with the governor of New York to say Trump is bungling with the issuance of ventilators. And also, as we saw from the Washington Post article, it may be being used sadly to drastically remove the rate of patients at some hospitals. Someone called Elmhurst in Queens, New York, and they denied that this woman, Colleen Smith, works there at all. We know she took simulation training. We know she writes and teaches simulation training. So maybe she was the perfect person to set the stage for having the real. Film Your Hospital trending. A citizen journalist filmed the outside of hospitals, proving that Elmhurst did not have lineups. More than one person did this. A few days later, the suspects involved in this drama are diagnosed with coronavirus. It goes along with all the sketchy celebrities being diagnosed with coronavirus, and all the politicians and world figures who are kind of accused of corruption down below. It's just bubbling up now. They all seem to get tested positive for coronavirus. Something weird is going on here. Polly says, I want to go back to this article and show you how the news can lie to you, right to your face. This is an image of the temporary hospital that they built in New York City, as they claim they have to start letting people die because of the overflow. Look at the picture they're showing you. There's nobody in these beds right in front of your face. I don't know. You tell me. Are we crazy conspiracy theorists for asking these questions? Very important questions, because if this is fake, Eve knows it is fake, confirmed by Jesus Christ being Gurinder Singh Dhillon's spirit form. If this is a PR stunt, says Polly, handled by major media and a doctor trained in simulation and boosted by people who work in crisis communication companies, if it is fake, we need to expose it, because look at the road they're taking us down if we believe it. A lot of what is happening and the overall politics of what is happening hinges on that story. Excellent point, said Eve. Do you trust that woman? No, says Eve. Do you trust the New York Times? No, says Eve. Do you trust the people who are boosting the story? No. Once again, says Polly, thanks to all who contributed to this work, to citizen journalists, to YouTube creators, those on Twitter, digging, bringing truth together, that we're not together on this effort to shine a light on this fake event as it's happening, so we don't go and make bad decisions like we did after 9/11. This time is involved with many countries of the world. If you are interested in Film Your Hospital videos, visit Dana Ashley. She has put together a great video for sharing. It shows back-to-back footage of what the mainstream media is showing you is happening in hospitals, right alongside the footage of the citizen journalists are taking at the hospitals. So it's really a mind blower. I'll link to that and to a bunch of other stuff. All right, I'm going to stop talking now. I hope you get my meaning. It's very important to expose stuff as it's going on. Okay, so that's where mainstream includes to the marginalized, exposing stuff as it's going on. So long.